Let's see if this is working. Hello, everyone. My name is Jason, and I think the microphone might be working. Yeah, it is. All right. So, hello, nice to meet you. Nice to see you again. Welcome to the new background. I know Stefan likes the wallpaper. Um, so, welcome to day 318 of A Daily Dose of Hope. So, nice to meet you. Nice to see you again. I am in transit. I'm traveling, so that's why there's a new background. So, a daily dose of hope is just that. It is a daily dose of hope because the energies in our planet have been increasing, as you may have noticed. And as they do, things start to get very wacky. Things start to resemble a low budget science fiction film, at least for me. And what my guides also told me is that things are going to start getting more and more surreal. Up until this point, things have been a bit like a low budget science fiction film, but you can kind of follow it. You can kind of see where this leads to this. But the third dimensional logic is going to start to shift and change, and it's going to move into a more multi-dimensional logic. And if you're looking at it from a purely third dimensional view, it's going to seem very wacky. Like, how does this work? It's going to be like a surrealist film. And so we're moving, I think we're changing genres soon. We're changing, I think we're in that transition period. We're changing genres from a low budget science fiction film into surrealist film. Maybe one of those like French surrealist films. That would be cool. Um, I'm kind of more of a Murakami Haruki or Haruki Murakami fan. But we'll see how it goes. Well, hold on. I'm turning off some things here just to make sure they don't interfere. So, what I wanted to talk about was, so I'm suffering from jet lag at the moment. So I've been waking up at like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, and it's pitch black. I'm wide awake, and there's nothing but my thoughts. And so this morning I was thinking, so I'm back home, where I grew up, and I was thinking that there's this kind of like feeling here where I feel like I'm cut off from my world. I'm cut off from everything that I've created, my workplace, my living space, everything. I'm just here and I'm kind of floating as usual. And it started me thinking though, like about the idea of a time bubble. Many places have time bubbles. Many places are existing in different times. Like where I live in Japan, it's kind of like a futuristic time bubble in a sense that we're kind of living in this like sped up version of time. Whereas here, kind of outside of the city, it's kind of there's a time bubble where things seem to be disconnected from the overall time of the rest of the world. So there's just a time bubble here, in which it's very nice because it preserves certain things. It preserves a certain way of living, a certain way of thinking, but at the same time, there is a tax that is taken from it. I've talked about these time bubbles before, and I was introduced to them by a Japanese channeler who was talking about. I think I've shared this before, but I'll introduce it. Um, first, let me just say, okay, so what is a time bubble? There is a movie called Miss Peregrine's School for the Gifted Children, I think it's called. Um, and in that story, I think the title might be different, but in that story, um, they are living in a time loop. And they have to, at the end of each day, they rewind back the time, and so that they can live within that time loop. So that it's a time bubble, is the way that I've heard it explained by my guides. And so it's a bubble within time. So time is moving along, but you can create this kind of energetic bubble so that it's kind of sequestered off from the rest of time. And so, what I've learned from the Japanese channeler is that what happens is that if you're a light worker, you have kind of like this light, and he was saying that it looks like a glow stick on top of your head, and that the people who are in the time bubble, they don't know that they're in a time bubble. They're just going about their day every day. But when they see that light, they say, "What's that? It's so much brighter than everything in my world." And they're curious and they follow that light and they follow that person out of the time bubble, and that's a way out of the time bubble. And so some of us are working, most of us light workers are working in that realm of bringing the light and showing people the way out of those bubbles. And so what I was doing though today, I had a kind of an inspiration about these time bubbles. I usually thought that maybe, for example, you just exert your light, you become the lighthouse, and then everything will be okay, or you just kind of send lots of light, pocket of peace. But my guides were like, no, 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 no. All creation comes from the inside out. So a time bubble is not created by anything else but our creative ability. We as humans create it. Maybe we don't realize we're creating it, but we are, in that sense, programmed to create it. And so it works on our energy. And and the tax that is paid is that there are beings that would like this time bubble because that way they can exist. They can exist in a lower dimension. And so what they do, the tax that you pay is a bit of your hope and a bit of your happiness, so that you're never able to reach that level of just, yes, I'm so hopeful and everything's great, or yes, everything's going great. You're always kind of, it's okay, but it's not there. You're always just a little bit under, and that's the point. If too much of that is taken, then you'll realize it and you'll say, no, I'm doing this. But if it's just subtle and you're just like, I don't know why I'm so not hopeful, there you go. But so what do, right? So the first inclination is like, I'm gonna take over this thing, fight. Doesn't work that way, because you're creating it. You acknowledge, and you are giving your energy to the time bubble. The only way out of the time bubble is to go inside and take it apart inside, so that you can exist within a time bubble but not be affected by it at all. That you are completely and utterly sovereign, but you realize that the time bubble is around you. So similar to the yin and yang, you're in the middle of the yin and yang. You see the polarities, but it doesn't affect you. That is the way to shine the light out of a time bubble. And you can show people just by being you, just by being that person that you are, having escaped the time bubble, but being still within the same physical area of the time bubble. And so you can demonstrate to others, like, this is possible. And so that's what I had learned. And so, okay, so then the question becomes, what is the technique? How do you go inside? And so this is what I did was I went inside, and you have to go into the programs that are put into your mind. Many of us have different programs working in the background, and those programs might be just snippets of phrases. For example, I'm never good enough, or I never fit in, or for example, my catchphrase, I'm always floating, I never really fit into anywhere. These are catchphrases. These are programs that are running in the background. That's not true. None of this stuff is true. You are love. You're pure love. But you have this program that's just a snippet or a phrase, and then that generates through your creative process. You create all of the words that you say and all of the situations that you're in. And then that can be part of the bubble. And so the way is to go in deep inside and to listen, so to your own internal dialogue, and then listen to it, listen to the words, and then go under the surface, under the hood, and then listen to what's really being said. Is it, for example, I'm always floating, or I don't fit in, or I'm not good enough, or never good at all these words, and just noticing them. You don't have to say, I'm not going to do this anymore. Just notice it and just look at it, and then see where these things, and then also see where you're getting feedback, where something in your mind is saying, oh, you shouldn't be doing this, this is not good. And just acknowledge who's saying that, what person is saying that to you, within your internal dialogue. I mean, is it a family member? Is it a teacher? Is it whatever it is, a TV personality? And you just acknowledge it. This is going on. And once you acknowledge it enough, then you say, I declare my sovereignty. I am a sovereign being. I do not have to be ruled by these phrases, by these ideas, and I don't have to be a part of this time bubble, because I'm free. And no one has any right over me to do this. And so I am free. And then you declare your sovereignty. And maybe you have to do it a few more times, but that's the key. And I think this might be the key also to finding a way within the polarity, is understanding that you're in it. It's not like you can't really avoid it. We're in this polarized time, but you don't have to be a part of it. And so, yeah, so that's one thing that came up for me. I'm going to check to make sure that this is working. Hopefully it's working. Hopefully I'm not talking to myself, but it wouldn't be the first time. Let's see. No, okay. I am not talking to myself. That's good. So, yeah, so then I'd like to just go into a channeling about this and see if they have anything else to add. But for me, an epiphany in the sense of understanding time bubbles and how they work. I used to be the type of person that I would just go in and say, this energy is off. I have to clear it," and not realizing that we are the ones that are creating the energy, and we have to clear ourselves first. You can't clear anything outside of yourself unless you clear yourself. Everything outside comes from the inside. So the bubble is created from within. All right, so I'm going to go into a channeling and see if they have anything to add. Greetings, we are that one that you know of as Yeshua. And yes, this idea of these time bubbles is a very interesting idea on your planet. There were many that were existed when I was alive on your planet as well. This is not a new technology by any means. It is a way of sequestering off portions of time for those who do not wish to be a part of the history or the long train of history, or those who wish to take the energy of time. You see, time itself is a perception, as you know, but as you perceive it, you give it energy, and so time itself has energy. And when you bottle up time, you bottle up that energy, and it becomes as if it is a carbonated beverage, and that there are bubbles inside, and when you open it up, the bubbles can come out, and so it is a controlled opening of you might say a champagne bottle of time, and so that energy can be used by those who don't have their own energy or wish to take from others' energy. But you, as human beings, have this amazing ability to be aware of this. You see, there are many of these ideas that are placed on your path, and there are two ways that all of you can look at them. You could look at them from the way of fear or the way of love. Now, you can look at it as a fearful thing, and it is frightening, and the world is such a dark place, or you can see that all of these things are placed there for you so that you can understand the nature of this for you to judge. It is for you to see that there are these things, but to understand that the love that you are made of is so much more powerful than any of these ideas. All of these ideas are built on the denial of love, the denial of self, the denial of connection to self. And so they are in denial. And because they are in denial, they are in a lack of power, a lack of true energy. So understand that none of these things could ever control you unless you decided that you wanted them to control you. And so this is the point that I'd like to bring forward for all of you, is that your awareness is so important on this planet. Where is your awareness? Are you aware of where you are and what you're thinking and what you're feeling and what you're feeding? Are you aware of all of the internal dialogue as this being stated? Are you aware of all of that? If you are aware, then you are impenetrable. Then you cannot be controlled by anything. But if you are hiding yourself from yourself, then those parts that are hiding from yourself can be controlled. So this is a time of an awakening. This is a grand awakening on your planet. Not only is it for the awakening of all of the things that have been hidden, but it is an awakening of yourself, of who you are, of where you are, of seeing, truly seeing with your heart's eyes, with the eyes of Christ, the Christed connection, truly seeing what is really around you. And once you do that, you have all the power of the universe. You are love. Love is the most powerful thing because it is the only thing. Everything else is a denial, and denial is weakness. Denial has no power. Love has all the power, and love just wants to extend and to give and to give and to give and to give. And that is what you are. Oh, all right. Okay. So, let's see. I'm not sure if I'm talking to myself again. Let's see, hold on. I'm just going to check. And if I'm not talking to myself, let's go into a pocket of peace. Okay, yeah. Go into a pocket of peace. It's interesting on my computer. I still have the Japan time, so it's 11 o'clock at night there, but here in the States it's 9 o'clock, so it's kind of interesting. I feel like speaking of time, I'm traveling in time. I've come from the future into the past. So I'm going to do a quick pocket of peace for the bubbles that we all might be living in. Okay, so um, here we go. I'd like you to imagine that you are in a place that makes you feel very, very much relaxed. Just breathe in that place and just imagine that you're there and that everything is going well. You're so relaxed in this place. Ah, you're there. It feels so good. And then just imagine that this mist of unconditional love comes in. And just it washes away all of the hopelessness, all of the sadness, all of the fear, the regret, the worry. It's all gone. It's just replaced with this really light feeling that, you know what, everything's going to be okay kind of feeling. There's nothing to regret, there's nothing to fear, because you're here in the eternal now, which is the only now, which is the now of love. And you're feeling this love warming up your heart, and then it just warms up the rest of your body. And it's unconditional love, and this is the love that the universe feels for you. It's you. You are that love, and you're made of this love as well. And so you're just extending and sharing this love everywhere you go. And then I'd like you to imagine that this love just expands out. So throughout your room or throughout the place that you're in, into the skyways, into the highways, into the byways, into all of the streets, all of the underground ways, all of the caverns, all of the tunnels, everywhere is filled with love. It's all love now. Everywhere is love now. And all of these time bubbles as well, they're all filled with love. And you can see all of these people who had been wandering around in circles, not knowing what they're doing, just repeating the same thing over and over again. And they're stopping what they're doing, and they're saying, you know what? I don't have to do this anymore. I don't have to do this anymore. I feel this lightness now. I can see the light, yeah. I feel like, you know what? I've got this thing. I don't have to go into circles anymore. I'm just going to stop and feel the love that I am. And look how big I'm getting. I'm getting so much bigger than those circles that I was walking around in. Those just the same thing over and over again. I'm just looking at it and saying, no, no, no. I'm made of love, and I'm so much bigger than this. And you can see all of these time bubbles just bursting, and all of this love is just filling over. All of these people are regaining their hope, that connection with hope, and they're feeling it, and you can see it in their eyes. You look at everyone around you, and you look in their eyes, and you can see something is glistening. That dull shine is gone. There's a glistening there. There's something beautiful, and you can feel it when you look into everyone's eyes. It's like, yes, that's it, that's it, that's it. We've got this thing. And then this love is going out throughout the whole world now at the speed of love. And so everyone's feeling it. Everyone's saying, yes, I've got this, I've got this. And all stories of sadness, all stories of fear, all stories of anger are turned into love stories. All of the stories that you see, if you turn on the TV, if you turn on your smartphone, if you turn on any device, it's all love stories. Everywhere you look, it's a love story. Look at the supermarket over there, love stories. Look at the drugstore, love stories. At the post office, love stories. Everywhere you go, it's all love now. It's all love now. It's all love now. We've changed it. We've changed the entire script into a love. This is a love story. All right. So Pocket of Peace for day 318, February 25th. Hope you guys are hopeful, and hopefully I'll see you all tomorrow, and good luck bursting all those bubbles. All right, ciao for now.